You walk into the store, grab your usual snack, and the total at the register is 30 cents higher than it was last week. That tiny moment of frustration is an everyday occurrence. We tend to think of prices as permanent facts, but the numbers printed on the shelf are actually temporary agreements. They are constantly shifting based on forces well outside the grocery aisle. To understand those forces, let's look at a control subject, a standard, generic chocolate bar. If we isolate its basic components, cocoa, sugar, packaging, and set a baseline price of $1, we get a highly effective diagnostic tool. By measuring how much you have to pay for this exact, physically unaltered item year over year, you can track how the purchasing power of your money is actually shifting over time. Decoding why that price changes helps you adapt your budget, negotiate your next salary, and identify your economic environment. Let's look at the most common scenario. What happens when the cost of our control subject experiences a slow, steady climb over 12 months? This is inflation. It occurs when the general price of goods and services across an economy continually increases over time. Our candy bar's mass remains perfectly static, but the price line ticks up from a $1 baseline to $1.20. The recipe hasn't improved. The currency just lost purchasing power, pulling up a wider basket of goods, bread, gas, rent, right alongside it. Because this mild upward drift is the default state of modern economies, consumers are required to earn progressively more income each year just to maintain their exact current standard of living. Sometimes, however, the variables run in reverse. The items on the shelf suddenly become cheaper. This is deflation, a sustained decrease in the general price level of goods and services. The chart trajectory reverses. The primary price line sharply drops below the $1 baseline, settling at 80 cents. But a new line tracking consumer demand shows it crashing downward first. People stop spending, forcing retailers to slash prices to move inventory. While your afternoon snack costs less today, the broader economy is experiencing a systemic freeze. Businesses stop expanding, hiring slows, and future economic stability becomes highly vulnerable. There is a third condition where the standard rules of pricing and economic growth completely break down and contradict each other. Stagflation occurs when rising prices collide with a stagnant economy where jobs are incredibly difficult to find. In this dual-axis chart, the price line for our chocolate bar spikes aggressively, shooting up to $2. The devastating second variable, representing wages and employment, collapses towards zero. This creates a massive gap. Things cost twice as much without the income to afford them. The pressure mounts quickly. The money you do have is losing its value, while the reliable income sources you depend on to replenish your bank account are disappearing. Stagflation is not just a high price tag, it is a structural crisis attacking your daily expenses and your long-term livelihood at the same time. Moving past the candy bar, these exact same forces are acting on your housing, your transportation, and your healthcare. The number printed on a shelf is largely irrelevant in isolation. A price only matters when it is measured directly against your current earning power. Inflation, deflation, and stagflation are the actual, inescapable environments that dictate the rules of your daily work and life. Recognizing which environment you are currently operating in allows you to step back. You stop reacting to the checkout counter like a passive consumer, and you start analyzing the board. Mastering this basic macroeconomic vocabulary provides the context needed to recognize economic shifts as they happen, helping you identify the specific conditions that are impacting your income and your savings.